Hi there guys, it's Martyn here, and welcome back to the Sunday catch-up episode 29, I think it is now. Before we get into the Q&A, obviously we're just going to do a few video recaps. So on Tuesday we had the latest instalment of the Now review that looked at Now That's What I Call a Party 2018. Mainly did that because Now Party 2019 was recently announced and will be coming out soon, so I thought it'd be nice to coincide with that. But do stay with the Now review, there's going to be a lot of the new albums covered over the next few weeks. Moving on up, we had Video Scaries on Wednesday, which looked at drink driving adverts. Now, a lot of people I think seem to have got a bit confused and thought that was the last Video Scaries. That is not the case. The last Video Scaries will be next episode, so airing on November the 14th. That will be the last Video Scaries episode for the time being. It's not dead, it's not never coming back, it's just going to take a rest. And on Friday we had the latest instalment of the Now review, which looked at the ITV Weathergens, which is something I've had requested for a long time, and it was really great fun to make and learn about all these different Weathergens and what they meant, what they represented, so please show your support there. And finally, the last bit of thing before the Q&A is sort of the new Q&A rules I really want to try and establish. I did mention this a few weeks ago about you guys only asking me 1 or 2 questions at the very most. That sort of worked for a while, but this isn't having a go at you guys at all. But just to, I think, to give more I'd rather give more detailed answers to less questions than very short answers to more questions, because I'm aware I want to keep these videos not overly long. So we're going to see how that goes today, but please in the future try and keep it to 1 or 2 questions if you can. Right, time to answer your questions. Dr. Floyd03 has a few, being 1. What Now albums are you looking forward to? Well, I'm looking forward to all the ones coming out in the month of November, so Now Easy, Now Love Songs, Now 101 of course. I like any sort of new Now album release. There's a nice feeling of going into a shop, well, HMV, and purchasing a new Now album. And 2, favourite Queen song. I have a few. I do like Innuendo, which is the title track off their final album, When Freddie Was Still Alive, or The Show Must Go On is another favourite. Is This the World We Created is another great song as well that gets overlooked. Digi the Robot says, what are your thoughts about the Now 101 track list? I'm happy with it. I mean, it's just, you know, it's the same as, it's the modern songs, you know, I'm not that much in keeping with the charts anymore, but when I am, it's nice to see that they're well represented. And 2, why not do a special IDENT review on the BBC Two Personality 2s to coincide with my creator's birthday? That's sweet. Yeah, the Personality 2s will be coming on the IDENT review. Can't really say when, I've got trying to work things out into a schedule, but they will be coming. And 3, which of the chasers do you find the most entertaining? I like the Beast, just because he's the Beast. Keep saying it, the Beast. Very TV says, can you do an IDENT review on the Wallace and Gromit BBC IDENT? Now, that's not a bad idea, that's something I haven't considered. All I'll say to that is, stay tuned. Thomas Tiger says, will you do an IDENT review on the BBC News IDENTs? Yeah, BBC News is something I've looked into. I need to do a bit more research on it, but it's been added to a list, it's not being overlooked. Harvey Richards says, did you know that there are 3 animated Titanic movies? Yes, I'm very aware they've existed. I got introduced them by like videos from JonTron and some other creators, but yeah, I'm never going to watch those movies because they look terrible. Sketchflux Wilson says, what are your thoughts on US dubs of British animated shows? If they're done well, then it's fine, but if they're just trying to be British or, you know, not trying to do their own spin on it, then it's not so good. 2, if you could rewrite any bad movie, which movie would you rewrite and how would you rewrite it? Terminator Salvation, I'd rewrite it just so it was more entertaining, that it had more to do with the canon. I'd rewrite it so Arnie was in it. I know at the time he couldn't be in it, but now I would rewrite it to include him. Terminator Salvation is just a lot of missed potential, in my opinion. And 3, have you considered doing another episode on A Brief History? And if so, what shows have you considered doing episodes on? Yeah, Brief History, as I've said before, it takes a lot of time and I'm trying to do scheduled videos and also run my life. So the next one I'd like to think is going to be based around Chucklevision or the Chuckle Brothers. When is that going to come out? Well, maybe around Christmas time or New Year. I'm going to try and aim for that. Caden Lucas says, what do you think of The Loud House? Also, can you do an IDENT review of the BBC Two's Personality Idents? The Personality Idents will be coming, don't worry, and The Loud House, I've never watched it, so I can't give an opinion, sadly. And thank you for saying you're my new biggest fan. Finn the Train is back, says, what is your favourite SpongeBob episode? It's gotta be the training video, you know, about the Krusty Krab and how to work there. It's just Really funny, really great. SKS 2002 says, are you hyped for Digitizer 2000 TV show on YouTube? Don't know what that is. 2. Have you heard or talked to Guru Larry Bundy Jr.? I'm aware of Larry, but I haven't really spoken to him. 3. Do you think there is a tape somewhere that has the BBC Two pop art ident? I'd like to think there is, being the early 90s and preservation being stronger than decades previous. I'd like to think that somewhere there exists a tape with pop art, we just haven't found it yet, but let's all keep our eyes peeled. And 4. Should ITV do a new season of Brainiac Science Abuse? I don't see why not, it was a fun programme for kids. If it came back, I wouldn't be against it. Phantom Vex Andrew Goring has a few. 1. Can you do a review of the Central Cake idents? They're not familiar to me at first, but I'll definitely look into them for you, maybe. I'll add it to the list. And 2. Did you hear about Ronda Rousey facing off against Becky Lynch at WWE Survivor Series? I know Ronda Rousey is, but I don't really follow wrestling or boxing or UFC, anything like that, so can't really comment on the subject. Synthwolf27 says, do you plan on doing more ident reviews on Channel 5? There are options on Channel 5, a lot of the idents aren't really that interesting, it'd be hard to say what to talk about them, but I've looked into it, so maybe, keep posted on that one. More Tri-Piece Gaming says, did you know Charles and Diana were on The Weakest Link? Were they though? Because, forgive me on my history, but I believe they separated in the mid-90s, correct? And Diana died in 97, and The Weakest Link started in the year 2000. So, unless something I just don't see how that can be correct. Can you provide me a link to that? And 2, what do you think of The Chase? I really used to dislike it. I've warmed to it a bit more now, but I still prefer the BBC quiz shows that are around today. But yeah, The Chase isn't bad at all. Elemental Skullgirl says, which ITV ident is your favourite and which is the worst? The worst is, well, you could argue the 1989 one's the worst just because it was very generic, but I know it had a great importance at the time. My favourite, probably the Weather Gins that we've just looked at, because that's probably ITV at its most creative. And 2, what do you think of Tots TV? Well, it was one of the shows I grew up with, one of the Ragdoll shows. I do prefer Brum, but I think Tots TV was a really great show. Great for kids as well in terms of the educational prospect, learning French. So yeah, good show. Space Shark Productions says, the serial come from an unearthly child? Ooh, right, I don't actually know. No, sorry. I know it's really easy, but I just don't know serial codes. Haha. 2, for a future episode of the ident review, you could focus on Christmas idents. You might have just read my mind. Christmas is coming up. And 3, have you seen the Peter Cushing Doctor Who movies? And if so, what do you think of them? Yeah, I saw them soon after I got into Doctor Who. I think they're great. I prefer Dalek Invasion Earth 2150 AD. I know that's quite an unpopular opinion. A lot of people prefer the first one. They're both great, you know, real product pieces of their time as well. And the Daleks are great in full colour and all this. But yeah, the second one's the better movie for me. Time Lord Master 108 has a few. One being, have you ever watched DuckTales, the movie Treasure of the Lost Lamp? Yeah, I used to have that on tape or DVD, I think. And yeah, it's good fun. You know, I never watched the series, but it was a fun little movie. And 2, if you were forced to watch either Batman and Robin or Superman 4 Quest for Peace, which would you choose? Batman and Robin, because at least I can laugh at Batman and Robin and get some entertainment out of it. Don't know if I can do the same for Quest for Peace. And 3, if you could go back in time and meet any of the Doctor Who cast who are alive or dead, who would you meet? I would have loved to have met Nicholas Courtney, who played the Brigadier. He's just such a character, you know. I'd have loved to met him before he passed. Same with Elizabeth Sladen, who played Sarah Jane. And also John Pertwee, who played the third Doctor. He just seems like such a character in life, you know, and he seems very flamboyant and great to talk to. So it's a shame they've all passed, but you know, we all have our time of life. Archie Bell's Animations and Vlogs has, would you rather meet the author Jason Gibb or the person behind the YouTube channel? Didn't know there was an author by the same name. Probably the person behind the YouTube channel, just to ask why they decided to try and take all my content, but you know, that'll probably never happen. 2, what's your favourite football team? I don't really like football, but if I had to pick, probably either, well, no, actually, I'd probably pick Liverpool. When I was there for university, you know, Liverpool's a really great city, so I'd have to go with them. And 3, do you like Smosh? I used to when I was a lot younger, not so much anymore, I've grown out of it. Itoji says, 1, are you going to play Deltarune? Never heard of it, so probably not. 2, will there be something special for this year's Christmas on your channel? I have plans for the Christmas season of December, so I think you'll all have to stay tuned for that one. But yes, I'd like to think something Christmassy will be approaching. And 3, are they good videos from Watch Mojo? Some of their top 10s are interesting and good, some of them are completely out of whack and there's no basis for why they've ranked them, so hit and miss with Watch Mojo, unfortunately. Joe W97 says, have you seen the Owl City Fireflies music video? Because it has a toy Brum in it. Yes, I remember picking that out at the time, back in 2010 I think it came out. There's like the few shots where you see Brum and the handle on his front is sort of spinning round. Yeah, I do remember that. Scrambled59 says, which Disney movie do you think is the most underrated? Most underrated Disney movie? Oliver and Company, probably, of the classics, because I watched that recently, and it's just so much fun. Why it didn't do that well at the time is beyond me, but yeah, Oliver and Company, check it out if you haven't seen it. And 2, which non-horror movie scared you as a child? There wasn't many. One of my earliest memories, I was about 4 years old in the cinema, we were seeing Thomas the Tank Engine and the Magic Railroad, and when it goes in the tunnel, when it's all red and dark and there's lots of steam flying about, that scared me senseless, so bit silly, but yeah, Thomas the Tank Engine. Benny's Random says, favourite movie of 2018? That, probably Infinity War. I know that's such a common one, or if I couldn't say Infinity War, either Lady Bird, which came out in the UK this year, so that counts, or I, Tonya. All great movies, check all of them out. ZPD Studio says, can you do an ident review on ITV4 idents, especially the 2006-13 ones with the CGI4 one day? Yeah, possibly. Again, all these suggestions are added to a list for me to research and hopefully one day cover. Dord Khan says, in terms of the Now review, which is your favourite? Also, could you do ITV ident reviews? Well, we've just had an ITV ident review, so I hope you enjoyed that one. And the Now review, which is my favourite? It's hard. I really like power ballads. That's sort of my genre of music, so probably now power ballads. Sophie Bitzinger says, can you give some American idents some reviews? It'd be interesting to see your thoughts on ads from MTV, Nickelodeon, Adult Swim, and etc. The thing is, I think I will cover some American idents. It's just a case of deciding which ones and then how we're going to do it. But yeah, American idents are not off the table at all. I did look at some Nickelodeon the other day, actually, so yeah, stay tuned for that. And finally, the TWR Modeler says, I really enjoyed your video Scary series. Need ideas for more? Well, thank you for enjoying it, and I know a lot of you have enjoyed it. It's not a case of needing new ideas. I mean, you're all welcome to put any suggestions for new ideas, but I just felt after 10 episodes, whereas all my other shows are quite constant and they happen every week, I wanted at least one of them to offer some variety. So it's just going to stop for a while, but it will come back eventually. But we're going to use that Wednesday slot to introduce new shows and see how they run as well. Some might be 10 weeks long, some might not be, we just have to wait and see. But thank you for all the support on Video Scaries. And that is all your questions for the week. As always, thank you very much for leaving them. So please leave your questions in the comments below. Just 1 or 2, please. Just trying to get those new rules across. Just 1 or 2 questions, and I'll do my best to answer them in next week's Sunday catch-up. But until then, have a great week. Please keep supporting the channel, keep supporting the videos. We've almost cracked 2,700. Still aiming to get to 3,000 by the year's end, which I definitely believe we can do. Keep watching the videos, keep supporting the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next one, I will see you guys next time.